If I can have your attention here in the media center, we are now joined by two-time defending Brantley Gilbert Big Machine Brickyard 400 winner, Kyle Busch, who this weekend is going to seek to become the first driver to win 3 consecutive races here at the Brickyard in any race series since Michael Schumacher did it in Formula One. So, big company, Kyle. That Skittles Toyota this weekend on track. How good are you feeling about the car?
Couldn't tell you. I don't even see it until tomorrow. You know, certainly we've been really good here the last couple of years, and being able to score the wins in the Brickyard 400 has been extra special. Certainly there's no other race that I've won probably that's been any bigger than a Brickyard 400. You know, it's really cool to be able to come here every August and late July, August, and have the opportunity to race around the Brickyard, and with the amount of heritage and prestige of racing that's here, it's pretty special. But you know, a lot of it's been Indy cars over the years, but certainly NASCAR has their history as well, and it's fun to be able to win back to back, and would certainly love the opportunity to go for 3 in a row. So the Skittles Camry always looks good, and I've got my special helmet with me this week to always keep my mouth shut on the radio and making sure that my mouth's full with some Skittles and ready to rock and roll. So I better get some now.
There we go. We'll open the floor up for questions for Kyle. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll start here with Claire, then go to Jim.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Why do you think you're so good here? And if you can talk through what makes this track difficult and what you think you've overcome to get to where you're at with your record here?
I wouldn't know what makes me so good here. I just think, you know, the last few years we've just really been able to capitalize on what I've been feeling in the race car and to be able to work on it and fix it. You know, I feel like that's probably the biggest thing is just, you know, there's times when you're at racetracks and you're working on your car, and it just seems to be doing the same thing over again. You just can't find the niche that will fix it. And, you know, I think that Adam and myself were able to find that here a couple years ago, and we've been able to answer all of our questions. So that's certainly been probably the biggest thing. So I think we're now coming here for 3 years in a row, 3 different aero packages with the Cup car. And you know, so it's certainly going to be interesting what transpires this year. But one of the most difficult pieces about the race here at Indy is just the ability to pass and getting runs on guys and being able to make that move. You know, whether it's off the corner 1, 2, 3, or 4. You know, you just got to pick and choose how you can get to the guy and make that move and not get too tight. You know, there's a balance of being able to turn through the corners here. They're really flat. And still being able to accelerate with the horsepower we have out of the turns and down these long straightaways.
We'll go next to Jim, then to Bob, and then to the young lady in blue.
JimOtterMotorsport.com. I know you've just had one 55-minute practice, but can you tell in any way whether the package and the Xfinity cars, from your experience on the track, is getting to what they hoped it would intend to do?
So far, no. I haven't really seen too much out of it yet. I've only been in a group of about 3 or 4 cars, you know, so it'll be interesting to see what happens on restarts and bigger groups of cars and seeing how much we can keep that group of cars together. It kind of seemed like whenever we would get, you know, 5 or 6 of us, somebody would want to shuffle to the back and then somebody would pull off, you know, so there wasn't a big enough group for me to focus on all that yet.
Bob Hawkers, ESPN, do you come in here thinking, wow, I've won the last 2, or damn, this is the last time I won a Cup race?
Yes. Seriously, yeah. I mean, it's pretty cool to come in here thinking that we have a chance to go for 3 in a row, and you know, it's ultimately frustrating in the same breath that you know, it's been 365 days since we've won one of these things. So. It certainly hasn't been from lack of effort or fast race cars, thanks to everybody at TRD and Joe Gibbs Racing, and our Toyota's been good. You know, it's just every single week it just seems to be something else that kind of bites us. You know, it's not the same thing over and over again that we got to fix. So, you know, it's just little things here or there that keep kind of working against us. But there are, you know, 2 other cars that have been fast. The 78 and the 42 have been really good. I feel like we've been right there with them, but maybe a tick behind. You know, maybe we've been the 3rd best car every single week, so we haven't been the guy. Not every week. You know, Phoenix, obviously, it was ours to win there. You know, Richmond, I felt like we had a chance to win. Charlotte, we passed the 78 for the win, is what I thought. You know, but some other races just haven't quite gone as good.
Megan McEwen, Wish TV in Indianapolis. the race now being moved to September for next year, do you like this idea, and do you feel like it's going to help draw more fans to the Brickyard?
I don't know that it's necessarily going to be a whole lot different. Certainly, I think it's a big race. It's a prestigious race, so maybe having it as the finale of our regular season will give it a little bit more allure to the fans. But other than that, you know, obviously it's dang hot here in July, August in order to come out here and ask the race fan to sit in the grandstands for 4+ hours, you know. So thankfully some of them are covered, obviously, but past that, you know, it maybe late September would be a little bit better, and we may see that the race fans enjoy the scenery here around that time of year and will come back.
Next to Jordan, then the Zach.
Jordan Bianchi, SB Nation. Kyle, look at last year, Joe Gibbs Racing, you know, during the regular season dominated, I think it's fair to say, and then kind of the playoffs, other teams caught up. Do you feel like it's kind of going in the other direction this year where maybe a little bit of struggle, and now come the playoffs, you feel like you're going to peak?
Man, again, I wouldn't say we've struggled. We've led plenty of laps this year. We've been in plenty of positions to win. We don't have the win numbers to show for that. But as far as it goes, I mean, I'd like to say that the answer is yes, that, you know, we're just not showing all of our cards, or the luck bank isn't showing us all of our luck yet. You know, I don't know what it is, but if that's what the swing is going to be, is that they're going to punish you in the beginning part of the year and you can't run good or you can't win races there in order to reward you at the end of the year, I would certainly take that. We just have to see how it plays out.
Go next to Zach, then to Bruce.
Zach Catanzarelli, front stretch. You mentioned the Michael Schumacher record here. Do you keep an eye on Formula One history and IndyCar history and everything that's taken place here, and the possibility you can do something that nobody's ever done?
Yeah, I mean, he said it. I didn't say it. So I didn't necessarily know that Michael Schumacher had won 3 in a row here, but obviously I know that from being in the NASCAR ranks that Jeff Gordon is the winningest driver here, being able to win 5 Brickyard 400s, right? So I keep that in my mind, you know, but would certainly like to think that I'm good enough, my team's good enough, Toyota, Joe Gibbs Racing, all of us, you know, we can go out there and score another win here and make it 3 in a row and do something that's been unprecedented in the NASCAR ranks here. I do enjoy watching all forms of racing, whether it's you know, NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula One. I do pay attention a little bit, so certainly have my eye on it as much as I can.
We'll go to Bruce, then to Kenny.
Bruce Martin with Speed Sport Magazine. As far as tomorrow afternoon's race goes, do you expect with the rules changes for it to be a dramatically different race or a subtly different race?
As of what I'm seeing right now, it'll be subtly different. I don't see it being dramatically different at the current moment.
Go next to Kenny, then to Matt.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Along those lines, what did you notice that was most different in the package during that first practice? And the speeds were probably 15 miles an hour different from what you guys practiced at last year in the first session. Will that make any difference at all, just going slower?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I noticed for sure was the horsepower, the motor, just the lack thereof. You know, you can pretty much run wide open leaving pit road all the way around to start your run and just run wide open the whole rest of the time, you know. So to me, it's about trying to not lift as much as you can. You know, you may have to here or there in traffic in order to time a run or something like that, but other than that, you can pretty much run wide open. So the lack of horsepower is definitely the biggest that I've noticed.
Matt Weaver, Auto Week. What came into the decision-making process to be able to decide that after 100 wins you're going to step away from Xfinity? And do you expect to fill that time with more truck races and late model races?
Really nothing came into the thought of it. I guess Joe and I, we've always been joking for the last 2 or 3 years they're going to kick us out, and they are. They're trying year by year and race by race, eliminating myself from competition in the Xfinity Series. So I figured I'd better hurry up and try to get to a number that I would think that is unreachable to others. And if I can do that, then obviously, you know, that would just kind of be the end of it. But I don't know that it would be just a hard cut. You know, like if I win 100 and I still have 3 races to go, obviously I'd have to fulfill obligations of contracts and everything else. So, you know, I wouldn't do that to my sponsors, but would certainly look at the opportunity to then just help Joe out when I needed to help Joe out. If it's a race or 2 or whatever in the next couple of years, to just kind of verify where the cars and equipment and team and everything is at, then that's what I'm there to do. And would I fill it with any others? It's hard with late model races because I'm you know, I race on the weekends, so there's only so many weekday shows that happen. So I wouldn't be able to fill more with that, and they keep putting more race restrictions on the truck series as well. So I'm kind of limited on that as well.
Brody Miller, Indianapolis Star. You've spoken a few times about maybe running the Indy 500 one day. I mean, just how close has that come to happening, and what has exactly prevented it from happening?
I had it done last year, sold and everything, ready to go, and I got a boss that said no. Figure it out. I got 2 bosses. One's a male and one's a female, so. I would, certainly. You know, I thought that I had a great opportunity to do it. I'm kind of glad it didn't come together because Alonso kind of stole the headlines the last time it was done. But, you know, there may be more in the future guys coming over to run that race. So, you know, I may have to split the limelight, if you will, with somebody else that kind of wants to do that race. But I think it'd be fun. It'd be a unique opportunity. I think the biggest thing that scares my boss is that I've never driven those cars, and so I don't know, you know, a Cup car or an Xfinity car, or a truck or something like that. Like I know what to feel and how to feel, and when something bad starts to happen, I can straighten it out, or normally I can try to fix it, although that didn't quite happen one time. So I think that's probably the biggest fear, is just not knowing what those cars do when you get into a bad situation.
Yeah, Kyle, Eric Smith, RaceView Online. Kind of to piggyback off that, being with a Toyota team, does that kind of help with IndyCar having a Honda and Chevy? You kind of fitting in the mold there. And my second part would be, you've got 4 wins here in NASCAR. Would you trade any of those for an Indy 500 victory?
Start with, what was the first part again?
Being Toyota, IndyCar having Honda and Chevy, does that kind of help you kind of keep your options open for either ride on either side?
Yeah, yes, it would keep your options open a little bit for either side of the engine manufacturer. And obviously next year that's going to change with the aero platform. It's my understanding, with just engines being the culprit and not necessarily being an aero package anymore. So, you know, obviously if Toyota was a third, I would be limited to that. So it does kind of keep your options open. Second question? Would I trade? Nah, I'm good. I'd like to be able to just have an opportunity to go out and earn it myself, and if that day ever comes, then we'll see what happens.
You know, if Kyle does win this weekend, it would be the 100th win for Toyota in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series.
Cool.
Any more questions for Kyle? Let's go to Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. You talked about a little bit, and you've talked about in the past, your frustration as the numbers of races get reduced, potentially even more so for Cup drivers in Xfinity. What, as NASCAR talks about further reducing, what are they missing, or what's being missed? What's kind of making you kind of want to scream in the air to make people understand why you should be allowed to run as many races as you want, or more races?
I don't know. I don't think that's a battle I'll ever win, so I'm best off keeping my mouth shut.
Well, we will now invite, oh, we got a question here from Rich.
Fantastic. Yeah. Keep them coming.
Kyle, would you mind telling the story of how you met your wife here, and if that has made Indianapolis, plus what you've done the last couple of years, become a little more special?
Yeah, so 10 years ago today, actually, I was given rides for Chevrolet, pace car rides and whatnot for some fans and stuff like that. And she was a promotionals model for Chevrolet, but she was just kind of checking IDs for people and whatnot, and you know, writing some information down. And I kind of saw her from a distance, and you know, asked my PR person to go ask her if she would like to take a tour around the racetrack. And so she did, and she got in the car with me, and I took her around, and she was like, "Oh man, you got a way better gig than I did." Me being driving people around and her not. She didn't know who I was. So that was 2005, right? So 2006 maybe. And so I wasn't very well known, obviously, in the Sprint Cup Tour then. So it was just kind of fun, and we exchanged numbers there. And then I actually didn't see her again for 3 months, but we talked on the phone, and finally I got her talked into coming to another race, and she came out to, I think it was Texas in the fall, so that was a long time. And from there, just kind of hit it off and been together ever since. It's 5 or 6. It was 10 years ago today, so whatever. It wouldn't. Well, is it 7? Think about it. If you go backwards, 16, right? That's 1. So figure it out.
Well, I'd like to invite to the stage here now Doug Bowles, track president here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, who has some special gift for you, Kyle.
We've done this before, so I know what it is. It's not special.